Hi, I'm Jim with Avalon Wood Flooring, and the purpose of today's video is to demystify the different types of flooring that are out there. The first one is solid wood flooring, engineered wood flooring, laminate flooring, and the final category is luxury vinyl plank or luxury vinyl tile. So the first one we're going to cover is solid wood flooring. And as its name states, it is solid wood all the way through. You have the same species all the way through it. The advantages to this is it can be sanded a number of times. Once it's sanded and finished, it can also be recoated, so it lasts a long time. We have some floors back east that are 150-year-old floors that have stood the test of time for sure. One of the considerations for a solid wood floor, especially in Southern California, is a lot of our homes are concrete slab construction. For a solid wood floor, I recommend putting a plywood subfloor down and then nailing the solid floor to the plywood subfloor. The downside to that is you end up coming up about 1.5 inches. And for some homes with kitchen appliances, doorways, and things as such, it might not be possible to come up that high. Solid wood flooring is also susceptible to moisture. The acclimation for solid wood is considerably more than any of the other flooring choices we're going to talk about today. So keep that in mind. The next one we're going to cover is the engineered wood floor. The engineered wood floor is a real wood veneer on some sort of wood core, whether it be plywood, pine, or even HDF. A lot of people call solid wood flooring real wood. Well, engineered flooring is also real wood, it's just real wood on the top. And the advantages to this is it's much more dimensionally stable than a solid wood floor. With the atmospheric moisture, it's going to expand and contract a lot less than a solid wood floor. Depending on how thick your wood veneer is, it can also be sanded. If sanding is a consideration for you, then I would recommend getting at least a 2mm wear layer in order to sand it. Anything thinner than that, you run the risk of sanding through that veneer into the core material, and then that just looks nasty. One of the advantages to this is you can glue it straight down to that concrete subfloor that we were talking about. You don't have to have that plywood, so it's a lot more versatile in that respect. It can also be recoated, re-oiled, whatever type of finish you have. So the next one we're going to cover is laminate flooring. And this is where a lot of the confusion comes from, at least in nomenclature, because we in the flooring industry used to call engineered wood flooring laminate because it was real wood laminated to plywood or what have you. Then 20 some odd years ago, they developed laminate flooring. Laminate flooring is a product that has 4 parts to it. The first one is the wear layer. It's the finish that's stain resistant. It's the durable part. The next layer is the design layer, and that's the photograph of wood, stone, whatever it may be. And then you have the inner core, which is the platform for it. Typically it's an HDF, a high density fiberboard. And then you have a backing that gives it some moisture protection. The textures that they've been using on laminate flooring have gotten so good since its inception 20 some odd years ago. I always tell customers that I'm afraid that one day we're going to sand it because it looks so real. So don't let laminate flooring sway you. If you find one that is going to look good in your home, I would say go for it. Don't let that scare you off. One of the downsides to laminate flooring is it is susceptible to moisture. If you have a water leak in your house, there's a good chance you're going to have to replace your floor. The other downside or consideration I would say is it can tend to sound a little hollow depending on how flat your slab is and the type of underlayment you use. So if you use a high quality underlayment, it's going to provide that sound insulation that's going to make it sound more like a real floor, real wood floor. So that's something to think about when you're selecting your flooring, whether to go with laminate or not. The next category is luxury vinyl plank. And luxury vinyl plank comes in 4 different platforms. You've got a glue down, a click, a loose lay, and a WPC, and we'll talk about those individually. The glue down is just that. It's vinyl flooring that gets glued down right to your slab. It's very thin, so you don't have any height issues typically. It's very durable, it's easy to clean. It's, again, the textures and the visuals that they're coming up with now look really, really good. The next one is the click system. And again, this clicks just like a laminate floor. It's a floating floor just like laminate is. Again, the textures that they've come up with are just fantastic. And it just clicks, floats on your slab, and you're good to go. Some of the considerations for this is the subfloor does need to be fairly flat, or you are going to see some of the undulations in your subfloor. So just keep that in mind. The next one is the loose lay. And this one is probably one of the coolest innovations to come out in flooring for a long time. Literally, you glue down the perimeter of this product, and then the middle, the feel of it is just loose laid. If you were to damage a plank for some reason or somehow, you literally can pull that plank up, put another one back down, and your floor is good as new. This one would be considered, I would say, water resistant because it is glued down. The material itself won't be affected by moisture or water, but it would come up if the adhesion was compromised. Then the next one we have is the WPC, which stands for wood plastic composite, but we kind of have made it stand for waterproof core. It's just easier to explain. And essentially what it is, this is a floating system as well. It's virgin vinyl that's adhered to some sort of waterproof core. It is a floating system like laminate. It clicks together like laminate, except the chief difference is it is 100% waterproof. It's very durable, very versatile. If you have kids, pets, you can put it in kitchens, bathrooms, and it's going to hold up under the most active of families. And there you have it. I hope I've cleared up some of the confusion when it comes to choosing the different types of flooring for your home. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you well.